This video is about the violinist Lea Luboshutz, who I will call the Forgotten Nightingale. Who was Lea Luboshutz? She's largely forgotten today. Well, she was a Russian violinist. She had a performing career in Europe and the United States of America, settling in America and becoming a teacher at the Curtis Institute of Music in Philadelphia. She was the mother of the conductor Boris Goldovsky and the sister of the pianist Pierre Luboshutz and the cellist Anna Luboshutz. She was born on February the 22nd, 1885, and she died on March the 18th, 1965. So just over 80 years of age when she passed away. Lea and her brother Pierre and sister Anna were born in Odessa, Ukraine. Lea was born in 1885. Her sister Anna was a cellist and enjoyed a distinguished career in the Soviet Union, and her brother Pierre was a pianist. Early on, her father Saul had dreamed of a family trio like the Chernyavsky trio of siblings from that very same city, Odessa. The Chernyavsky trio were Leo Chernyavsky, 1890 to 1974, violin, Jan Chernyavsky, 1892 to 1989, piano, and Michel Chernyavsky, 1893 to 1982, cello, who perhaps will be the subject of a future video of mine. We'll see. But back to Lea then. She started the violin with her father. Her mother supported the family by selling pianos. A child prodigy, Lea gave her first concert at the age of 5 and went on to study with Emil Milnarski, a protege of Leopold Auer. At age 8, she was taken into the Odessa Conservatory. When Leopold Auer visited Odessa, he was so impressed with Lea that he invited the 8-year-old child to come to study with him in St. Petersburg. But alas, the family could not afford to send and maintain Lea there. She was born into a relatively poor family. Auer offered to teach her in St. Petersburg, but her parents could not afford for one of them to accompany her. As they had relatives in Moscow, she went there instead in 1900 and studied with the distinguished Czech pedagogue Jan Hramali. Lea was 11 when she arrived at the Moscow Conservatory on an invitation by Vasily Safonov, and ended her studies there, winning the gold medal in May 1903. Her patron Lazar Polyakov purchased an Amati violin for her. In due course, she had 2 periods of study with the great Eugene Issai in Belgium. She quickly became well established in Moscow musical circles and began to tour in Russia and Eastern Europe. At the age of 16, she met Onisim Goldovsky, a prominent and wealthy attorney active in political circles. He was also an accomplished pianist. She became involved with Onisim Goldovsky and was with him until his death in 1922, although they never wed. Goldovsky was already married to the writer Rachel Kin, but nevertheless he established a household with Luboshutz and the couple had 3 children. Goldovsky nevertheless remained married to Kin for the rest of his life. The Goldovsky-Luboshutz apartment became a gathering place for musicians and theatre people. Many visiting performers, including Pablo Casals, stayed there during tours to the city. With her brother and sister, Lea formed the Luboshutz trio that toured throughout Russia and even played at Leo Tolstoy's state funeral. Lea also performed at the court of the Romanovs. and appeared regularly in Russia and Europe with the basso Fyodor Chaliapin and in concerts organised by Serge Koussevitzky. Lea was best known as a soloist, mixing with such luminaries as Casals and Koussevitzky. She visited the US in 1907 but had to cut her tour short because she became pregnant. Emigrating after the Russian Revolution, Godowsky and Luboshutz decided to depart from Russia, never to return. First going to Germany on a concert tour in 1921, accompanied with her 13-year-old son Boris, who served as her piano accompanist. Onisim Goldovsky died the next year, not having managed to actually leave the Soviet Union. Living as a single mother in Berlin and then in Paris, Lea toured throughout Europe and under impresario Sol Hurok's banner throughout the United States. There, she introduced many new works to American audiences. She played the New York premiere of the first violin concerto of Sergei Prokofiev, with Ernst von Donyahy conducting the orchestra. She eventually found her way back into the US, where she would settle. In the 1920s, she had a duo, possibly also a fling, with Joseph Hoffmann, and began touring internationally with him from 1924. She continued her career and then went on to teach at the Curtis Institute from around 1927 or 1928. Joseph Hoffmann had invited her to join the violin department there, a post she held until 1945. Over the next quarter century, she taught roughly 150 students, many of whom won jobs in major orchestras, including 6 in the Philadelphia Orchestra. 2 of Lea's students became concertmasters, Raphael Druyan, who would go on to inherit Lea's Stradivarius, with orchestras in Dallas, Minnesota, Cleveland and New York, and Henry Siegel with the Seattle Symphony. Having previously played in Amati, she acquired her amazing Stradivarius violin in 1928. Another wealthy patron, Aaron Naumberg, purchased this Stradivarius for her, the so-called Nightingale Stradivarius. Adding further to the tragedy in her life after having lost Goldovsky, she also lost one of her sons who died in a climbing accident. Her elder son, Boris Goldovsky, had a good career as a pianist, an opera impresario and conductor, and her brother Pierre was half of the famed Luboshutz-Nemenov 2-piano team. Lea retired around 1945 to 1947. Her track record as a teacher was so impressive that the Curtis Institute bestowed on her an honorary doctorate in 1953. One reference mentions 1953, another 1960, but around about that time, and certainly some years after she had retired. And so she was awarded an honorary doctorate by the Curtis Institute of Music. Photos of Lea Luboshutz depict a handsome woman and a strong character. She also had success with female students of hers, including one, Ethel Stark, who became famous as the co-founder and long-time conductor of an orchestra made up entirely of women. During the summer, Lea, like many other faculty members, had many of her students follow her to wherever she was residing. And she would organise concerts in her house, played by her students. Her philosophy of teaching was simple and mirrored that of Joseph Hoffmann. Good outcomes were not the result of genius teachers, rather they came about when brilliant students were willing to work hard with experienced performer teachers as their guides. Luboshutz died at the Einstein Medical Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1965. She must have been fairly well known in classical music circles in her lifetime, but it seems that today she is largely forgotten. However, a biography was written in recent years about her, I believe by her grandson, one that I plan to read as soon as I can. Luboshutz's sister Anna became a celebrated cellist in the Soviet Union and was also a gold medal winner at the Moscow Conservatory. Her brother Pierre Luboshutz formed a well-known duo piano team with his wife Genia Nemenov. Her son Boris Goldovsky started his career as a pianist but became an opera impresario and teacher. Two grandsons, Andrew and Thomas Wolff, also had careers in music. It's Thomas Wolff who wrote the book on her life.